Howdy everybody. I wanted to show you where I'm tied up. This is Highway 126 in Florence, and the address is 9296 Highway 126, and if you Google it you get the satellite image and it shows you my boat from the top. Anyways, this is just, you can see the daffodils are up, and that's where my buddy's house is, and this is my truck. And I got my little Suzuki motorbike over there. The two together keep me going. My truck's been all rebuilt, so it's really a happy little rig. Come on, I'll show you. These are aluminum masts that stick up on top of the stops up there. And I have two for a sailboat, of course. Anyways, I just wanted to show you how incredibly light they are. I got them from the city for 80 bucks. They're street lights. They've been hit by a car one time. But the first section has to be metal because I run my furnace up through it. It would melt the aluminum. Okay. Here's my big 70. We'll move this boat along around 5-6 miles an hour. And it's a really good outboard. It's a two-stroke, and not very many hours on it because the guy who had it was afraid of its environmental impact. So this is the tailgate. This is my cargo lifting hoist, and it pivots down below. So when I have it rigged up, I can go out this way here and lift up. It comes up, hits against my pulley, and brings the whole rigging in and lowers it onto the tailgate. Here's an example of, I found this under the water right out in front of the boat. Big old piece of cedar. And I had to dive. This boat didn't go down straight. It kind of went at an angle. And I had to go out into the deep water, and I spent about 3 hours underwater pushing logs underneath the keel so the boat would come down straight. This is my man door to get in and out. Those are my rudder blades. And this goes up. And here's a good example of the mast. The furnace comes in, and the bolts choke the beams that go across. The beams are 8 telephone poles. So this is kind of a laundry room and furnace room, and when it's all stoked, this becomes a steam room too because it's super insulated and it holds the heat really well. But this is for showering hot water, and then this is for the hot water for the furnace. It runs the water down to the room down below, the guest room, which I'll show you in a minute. This is my dive locker, which features my new cutting torches and all these regulators that people have just given to me because they say, oh, I don't dive anymore. Here, you can have all this gear. So I'm really been lucky. Anyways, this is all framed in, if you look here, this is all framed in metal so that I never have to worry about fire. All my heat and everything is contained in a metallic room. And this is my, basically where I'm going to entertain from. I'll do the performances up here and then everybody can enjoy it from here. But this is also the entrance to the water. This hatch lifts up, and I attach lines on all 4 corners and turn it upside down, and it becomes a man basket for going under the water. So when you come up, you can just swim on top of it, you press a button, and the winch lifts you right up out of the water with your gear. Little convenience. Shall we go outside, you think, now? Yeah. Okay. This is the front mast, and I have just a little, you can see it's gotten quite hot. I've got it deformed, and I have to put another piece of metal over it. But for now, I've been using it as a little heater, and it heats up this little room nicely. I have to leave my clothes all out so that they don't get moldy. And then this is my bunk. Sexual altar, as I like to refer to it. And, and then I got, drawers underneath, and I got some more drawers on the other side. So it makes a nice little hutch. But here's the thing. Of all the things in this bunk, this door drove me crazy. Because it's not flat. I couldn't even get it to sit on sawhorses. Take a view down the river there, Mark. We came up with all we had was a 40 horse, and we came up the river. It was 8 miles. Took us an hour. Anyway, that's an island on that side, and you have to go all the way up the river to what they call Mapleton, which is 4 miles more that way. And then you go across over to the bridge. And show them that bridge over there. Can you see that bridge over there, Mark? That's where a creek comes down, and we're going to go over there doing some gold excavation. We're going to do a little bit of that. Anyhow, the thing about concrete is it's just so incredibly strong and easy to fix and cheap. My keel down below is about that thick, about that wide of just dead wood. Really concrete and steel, but we call it dead wood before it comes up into the belly of the boat. So when she's beached, it's very stable, and when it's underway, it's very stable. I mean, it's hard to imagine that this thing even moves for a lot of people. There's another example of my stump. The aluminum mast just slides right over it. These are all Lexan windows. They're actually bulletproof, believe it or not. But before I head across the big ocean, I'm going to put several more layers of it on there. You have to buy a whole case of Lexan to make it any kind of worthwhile, because they're like almost $150 for one sheet, 4x8. Anyways, great setup. And let's go below, Mark. Let's show them down below. Close this up. The boat weighs 25 tons. And come on, I can show you down below here easy. And I have styrofoam all up in the walls here for insulation and flotation, all back in the wall there. Underneath the floor. See, take a look at that. That's all the styrofoam, the ingots that you get, for wharves. We had a storm here, and I got 7 truckloads of big styrofoam ingots. And when I get finished with every spot with all the insulation, I'll have 50 tons of buoyancy in a boat that weighs 25 tons. So that means completely filled with water, I'll still be able to sail. These portholes, this is just some plexiglass that I had. I'm not going to use plexiglass. I'm going to use Lexan. But I just, actually Mark is the one who gave them to me. He had a friend in the glass business, and I just put them in there temporarily just to have light. Because like I say, to have Lexan, you got to buy a whole case of it. And, that's a couple $1,000. Anyhow, these rims were made from a log truck rims. And I had them cut in half. And I put the glass in that way. And eventually I'll put a plus sign across it with some stainless steel rod. But if you come to visit, this would be your room. And it's, if you look at that wall up there, you can see where the styrofoam shows. But it's all up in here, styrofoam, all on all the walls. And back in there, all the way from that wall, all the way forward, it's all solid styrofoam. And, what's that mean? It made a noise. Does it mean anything? Okay. Well, these are the hoses that come down from that furnace room. This comes from the furnace, and this goes back up to it. And it runs the water in through here. And we haven't quite laid out the hose properly because it's got to be warm. But this room heats up to about 80 degrees when it's really cold outside, just from that furnace. Really works out good. Then so, you know, it's basically a bachelor pad, but it can always be feminized. And we're going to have 2 bathrooms on board. I got one done upstairs. I'll show you in a minute. But this is the styrofoam. See the pile of styrofoam that we got? And this one right here, it just floats up. When the walls break apart, the styrofoam just comes out. And it was on the beach. It was literally up. It looked like a junkyard of styrofoam. And I had hired a couple people, and we just kept loading up my truck and bringing it down. And it's all styrofoam all up through here. And these are the beams that hold the boat together. There are 8 of them. They're basically telephone poles. And they've been pressure treated, creosoted, and oiled with old engine oil. Pretty happy with that. And these stairs, I actually molded them into the hull. And it turned out to be a very smart idea. Because trying to go up and down the ladder when you're working is a tremendous risk. And the stairs, just for that reason, is a really good thing. Okay, Mark, we've got to show them the bathroom. Go ahead in. As you can see, there's a few more to it. Few more. This is the furnace hoses up here that come from my room too. It heats up my room as well. So this is it. This is the toilet. And this is a big fat bum that your feet go on to help give you the incentive. Because we all know how important that is. But it's a nice flush toilet. And look down on the floor here. You can see it is attached real firmly to the floor so that, it doesn't break off. Because the 2 bolts that hold down the toilet I didn't find to be quite sufficient. And it's a really nice rig. It goes out, my floor drain, everything, it just goes out. I have a septic system I haven't put in quite yet. But for now, I'm in violation. Okay. You want to go on the roof, or do you think that's long enough? Let's go on the roof. You can say something. What are you shy about, Mom? Afraid they're going to come get you?
Yeah.
These are my handrails, and I haven't finished working them up yet, but I have it tilted away so that they're also the gutter to catch the rainwater. But for now, they're just the handrail, but they're both. And I have these step buckets. That. Are you going to be able to make it up?
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to hand me that? Look at that. Just like a cat. These panels are called hurricane panels, and they're Lexian too, and they're designed to withstand over 100 miles an hour. And if you look up here, it goes like a checkerboard because I have them layered opposing to each other, and then right in the middle I actually have 3 layers right in the middle. So theoretically a 60-foot wave could land on this boat and it should be able to shed it. So what do you think of that, ladies and gentlemen? But this is a pretty good overview of what I've got done so far. But here's the most important part. It's all paid for. It's not finished, but it's all paid for. There's no bank of getting rich off of me, I'll tell you that. Well, that's it.